Yeah, we're going to be talking about some interesting stuff, I think. Um, with this Bitcoin, there have been over 750 of them, I think now, maybe more now. I don't know. Seems like every day I turn it on, there's even more, more,
Yeah.
more, more coins or altcoins out there. Of course, Bitcoin being the granddaddy, right? They started all the thing, they set the standard for it, but nobody can keep up with them. They're so dadgum high. But it's funny, but a lot of the other currencies have really improved on it. Um,
Well,
what do
we
you think?
obviously, as far as market cap, Ethereum's gaining on them. But what we kind of wanted to cover today is that Bitcoin is the one that's been used most as everyday currency. I
Yeah.
mean, you go over to Japan right now, there's over 400,000 retail stores that take Bitcoin.
Wow.
All through Europe, you can find restaurants and stuff, and you can use your address off of your phone and pay your bill in Bitcoin. So they are the big cheese as far as currency. But there's some that are trying their darndest to catch up and dethrone Bitcoin as a currency. So we kind
Yeah.
of wanted to look at two or three of those today and
Well, which ones do
see.
we want to look at, Ron?
Well, I think one of the main ones right now is Dash. Now, there's a
Yeah.
lot more than the three we're going to talk about. You got
Oh, absolutely.
Bitbean, and I think there's Peppy Cash. I mean, there's a lot of them that want to be used as currency, but they're just
Peppy
not in the
cash.
running.
And that big bean reminds me of Euro saying, "Cool beans."
Yeah, cool beans. That's cool beans. So anyway, let's take a look at the market cap real quick. We want to kind of move through this and look at some of these. Of course, we're going to look at Dash today, and Dash is right now at 193 bucks a coin or token. And Rod, neither of us have Dash,
No, we don't.
but yet as we got looking at this, they have probably the most aggressive marketing campaign of all the coins that I've seen.
I think so. The more I started studying this stuff, you're right. They do.
They actually have a marketing rep. That's Amanda B. Johnson, and she aggressively does a lot of interviews and talks, and they're just out there. I mean, they're really promoting their product. Dash is really becoming huge. So we think this is a real good contender to knock Bitcoin off the throne as far as a currency. It might not be tomorrow and it might not be this year,
Or next.
but Dash is one that you definitely want to watch.
Yes.
They're some of the benefits is their transactions are just so much faster. Their fees are smaller. And they have this saying of anonymity where
An. Yeah.
you struggle like I do, huh?
And then, and then,
Anonymity. Now you got me messed up. Anyway, secretive. You can be secretive using Dash.
there you go.
When you get the information on the blockchain, it's just not wide open to the public. So they got a few things going for them. And a year or so ago, they started piping this thing called Dash Evolution. And it's supposed to start at the end of this month. And it kind of makes paying in Dash available to all your devices. They
Oh,
want it to become as easy as using PayPal. I mean, you
wow.
can, yeah, which is great. We need some of that stuff here in the U.S. that'll make transactions easy, smoother, quicker, and less expensive on the fees. And this
Yeah.
evolution is part of that. Go ahead, Rod. Do you have a comment?
No, I was going to say that PayPal, if they can get it to be like PayPal, boy, that would be great because I know I use PayPal a lot. It's pretty safe.
And it's easy. That's the
It
whole
is
thing
easy.
with this. So, I stumbled on something else, and that's this 10x revolution. It's actually a credit card that can be used with any, I believe it's any altcoin or Bitcoin that you have. So you download the app on your phone, you use the credit card, you kind of put that in the chip reader, and then you go to your phone, and depending on what currency you have in there, you can send that currency to that card immediately and pay the bill.
Oh, wow.
No, that's really slick. Talking about one card universal for payments.
Boy, no
anyway,
kidding.
they've kind of done some of their demos with Dash. One of the videos I saw briefly was a guy that went into McDonald's, put the card in the reader, sent Dash coin to pay his bill. Of course, they're on the beta of this right now, and we're not on the 10x Revolution video. But
Yeah.
their ICO starts in about 5 days. Looks pretty interesting, but the drawback, you can't use the blasted thing, I think, in the U.S. yet. So that's kind of been one of the negatives to me.
Well,
But-
Congress is trying to get things so they can start taxing it.
Yeah, there's some articles out there right now that are screwballed too, man, on this government trying to restrict things. But anyway, let's move on. So
Okay,
Dash, no, I'm just thinking my brain was... Dash is definitely in the running. Matter of fact, they just upseated Bitcoin at Amazon.
Oh, you're kidding.
And we looked at this article
Oh, yeah,
before.
that's right, we did. Yeah, we did.
Bitcard ditches Bitcoin for Dash
Yeah.
in their Amazon sales. I guess what was going on was Bitcoin was just taking so long for the transactions to get verified and authorized, and the fees were so high that it was a nightmare, not only for Bitcard, but for Amazon too, getting their money.
Yeah, you bet.
So here comes Dash coming along that is so much quicker, so much easier. And from what they've said, since they switched over to Dash, they haven't had one problem yet.
Oh, well, that's pretty good.
It's really good. So
Ooh,
Dash
Litecoin.
Dash is a coin you might want to look at. And Rod, what was the price of that? 193,
Yeah,
I think.
193 for Dash, right?
And then Rod hit it on the head. Another one we feel's in the contending is Litecoin.
Yeah, I like Litecoin.
Yeah, it
I've
almost hit.
been with Litecoin since about $20.
Yeah, and you were pretty excited last night or the night before. Didn't it get up close to 50?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I was going, wow, maybe we'll start seeing some good money in it now.
It's also a currency, and it's got some
Yes.
benefits.
It's quick. It's easy to use. It's fast. You know, you don't have to wait a long time. Kind of like Dash. It's a good. They have something called, I think they call it a lightning network like that or something.
Well, they took on segregated witness, and let me quickly explain that.
Okay, I wish you would.
As far as my understanding, and we're not the go-to guys on all this stuff, but you take a block which just holds transactions. So look at Bitcoin. They got a block, I think, that comes out every 15 minutes, holds X amount of transactions. Well, each transaction is full of code. Who sent it, where it's going, the hash, and all the code of that transaction. Well, you get so many of those within a block, and it slows the block down, and that's the trouble that Bitcoin has been having.
Yeah.
And then the miners, you know, they want as high a fees as they can possibly get, so that's another negative. Well, what segregated witness does, that Litecoin has taken on, is they take that transaction as it comes into the block, they make it lighter. They scale it down to where all that code isn't in there. So if you just take a block and then they add a second one, can't remember the name of it, but a good part of this transaction code goes into the other block, so the transaction can speed its way through the block really quick. So Litecoin has an ultra fast response to using it, and they can handle purchases that are a lot smaller in denomination.
Oh yeah, that's true.
based on the fees. I mean, you
Yeah.
got Bitcoin. You know, you buy a cup of coffee, and you know the fees might be almost as much as the cup of coffee. Well, that's a big negative. So here comes
Yeah.
Litecoin along, and Litecoin streamlines it a lot quicker, reduces fees, and there's companies, again, I can't remember which ones, but they're dropping Bitcoin to use Litecoin in what they're doing as far as their company and stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's actually pretty cool. And you were just telling me about that article from Zero Hedge.
Yeah, Zero Hedge is a Litecoin explosive higher after the Chinese and Korean buying. So up to then, that'll be a big thing, won't it?
Well, yeah, anytime you get any Asian country, I think, involved in one of these coins, if they take it on, it's going to go.
Well, especially with the population that China has.
Yeah, seriously.
You don't have to be very, with as many people as they got, and if everybody's using it, then, you don't have to have very many of them using too much of it either.
That's right.
It's going to explode.
And it's just like we were talking about, did I say that Dash? No, it's Bitcoin has 400,000 stores in Japan that are using it now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, once they get hold of some of this stuff, it's on the go.
It is.
It's very good.
It really is. Bitstamp, it's starting Monday. Litecoin will be on Bitstamp.
And that's a plus. People like that Bitstamp exchange.
Yeah, they do.
So now if you can get that on there too, that's got to be a plus. I think that's good. All right, and I think Litecoin has merchants that are using their product already. Along with Dash, they actually have a list. I'm pretty sure Dash does a list of merchants that take their coin. Anyway, these things are moving forward. Bitcoin isn't the only currency anymore. And then we wanted to briefly talk about one more, and that is Zcash. And let's go to the market cap real quick on that, Rod. I mean, Zcash it's 376 buckaroos.
Man, that's almost as much as Ethereum.
What's their coins in circulation, Rod?
5 circulation.
1,500,000.
There it is. Yeah, don't have very many.
No, and then that you get and which helps the price go up.
No
then
kidding.
You get a hefty price, and their market cap is up there where they're number 12 on the chart.
Sure is.
So
yeah, it is. Wow,
that's good right now. But Zcash, I mean, they also have these things that provides extra security when using it, which is really a benefit for businesses.
Yes.
They're kind of structured where businesses can remain anonymous and
anonymous.
And so you don't really know how much was spent or where it came from, and that could be a benefit to some businesses. Their blockchain just started last October, so they're pretty new in the field. But if you get studying Zcash and the things they got going too, they could really be in a contender here in a year or two. It could make a big difference.
Yeah. If I could regress back a little bit to Litecoin.
Sure, yeah. What do you want to say?
Yeah, and I was going to say that Litecoin was also a fork on Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Did you know
Litecoin
that?
forked. I had read that before.
Yeah, and then I think Dash is a fork off of Litecoin.
That's
I
interesting.
think I read that.
Wasn't Dash originally called Dark Coin?
Ooh, like Darth Vader.
Yeah, I think it was.
So I guess Litecoin is kind of like the Force, huh?
Yeah, could be. So, folks,
May the fork be with you.
fork be with you. Yeah, talk about forks. We've got one coming up too, August 1st, and we're gonna have to do some work on that, some videos.
Yeah, we all.
So, folks, you got Bitcoin, everyday currency, but there's some ones that are right on their tail. This Dash you might have to be reckoned with in the future.
Yeah, man, Bitcoin.
So we just wanted to bring you that information, keep plugging along in your cryptos. I'm telling you, these things are going to go up.
And they're fun to look at.
Yeah, and to study.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. And some of them are kind of kooky, I think. But you know, like the top ones, I don't know. I really like Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Dash, Zcoin, Zcash. I mean, some of them that we've been studying here lately, I really, really like. They got some potential to them.
Good, solid platforms.
Good, solid platform.
But if you're holding back, and I'm not saying jump into all these altcoins.
No.
But if you're holding back as getting into crypto, it's the wave of the future, I think. I think we're right on the cusp of this thing going nuts.
Rink.
Yeah, so
get it out.
Folks, thanks for watching.
We appreciate all your subscriptions, and we appreciate all your comments. We just love doing these things, and God bless.